Okay, good day, Cowboys fans. What's going on? It's your boy Foots, the King. And I'm doing something different today. Got home, sitting in my car, was listening to a bunch of radio, some music, obviously some Cowboys talk. The website has a bunch of shows going, so just gathering information. And I'm back for the second installment of Cowboys training camp position battles. And so this is going to be the offensive side of the battle. What does this mean? Who are positions to watch roster-wise? What does the Ezekiel Elliott suspension mean for this training camp battle season? And who's going to obviously step up for him? Because, like it or not, it's looking like at some point here we're going to be without our star running back, which it sucks, but it's one of those things where you're thinking about a player in Zeke is so good, but he's going to have to learn how to manage off the field. But I'm not here to just talk about that. It's going to be, all over the board from O-line to third, fourth receiver to practice squad guys. And obviously, who's going to make the cut at running back? Is it going to be a Darren McFadden? Probably is going to be our starter. Could Jahad Thomas make a push? Every year, even back to thinking about, I remember a guy, Jameis Olawale, and I think he was playing for the Raiders for a little bit. Every year there's a running back who comes out of camp who does a little something. So this is going to be a fun kind of video blog, and I just want to do it in my car. As you guys can see, the Cowboys headrest. So I'm always representing, fresh off work, got these thoughts on my mind. I got my notes right here. So it's just going to be a cool show, man. Thank you guys so much. And like I said, we're going to continue to ramp up the talk, the film sessions once the season gets started, and just doing the work with Joe Rod and all the other Cowboys YouTubers. It'll be fun. So right now, I got 4 positions that I want to talk about. Well, 4 kind of topics of talk. It's going to be Dak versus Dak. It's going to be Ezekiel Elliott and what's going to happen off the field. How will this affect us in training camp battles behind him? Who's going to take the hold of that position? You're thinking about McFadden. He's had injury history. Alfred Morris, frankly, just looked slow last year, and his vision didn't look great. And that's what he is. He's a one-cut vision type of guy. So with him looking slow and missing holes, that's not a great sign. Ryan Switzer, that's going to be a crazy wave. And, that Lucky Whitehead situation. And then, obviously, who's going to take the reins of our left guard? And what can Lyle Collins do in training camp to really get better? Going against he's going to be our right tackle. So who will he be up against? And what can he really solidify that right tackle? It's really him versus none. So, Chaz isn't going to challenge over there. It looks like they're having faith in him. So, left guard, right tackle, that's big. That's not just an easy thing. And everybody likes to say, well, he's in between 2 stars. The whoever wins the left guard position, they'll be in between 2 stars, whether it's Jonathan Cooper or Chaz Green. He'll have Travis Frederick and obviously Tyron Smith to kind of look out for him. But that's not an easy position. And, we don't know how Dak will do with pressure up his face. So, all that being said, let's talk about Dak versus Dak. Dak Prescott took the league by storm nonetheless. But Dak versus Dak in training camp. If you know anything about Dak Prescott, he's never been a practice kind of a guy. He's never been a guy who's going to throw great balls. I remember going to training camp and he just didn't look that clean. However, this is something that I will be looking for in practice and in training camp and obviously preseason. Does everything look the same? You're thinking about Tom Brady. What makes him so great is his footwork. Every drop back looks the exact same. His width, his balance, his feet width, his eyes. All these little keys are things that defenses around the league are now going to be looking for in a Dak Prescott. How does he improve on these things? My only problem with Dak last year was footwork could have been better at certain times. How fast does he climb the pocket? How fast is he still, getting through his progressions? Early in the year, one progression, ball out, didn't scan the field quite as well. You think about the Detroit game, he looked amazing. And obviously the Green Bay game, second half, you could see the progression that he made. So these are things that I'm going to be looking for, kind of just my eye to say, how has Dak progressed? It's just Dak versus Dak. Everybody's going to wait for a Dak Prescott fall off. Honestly, I don't see it happening, but it's something to watch. Now we're talking about Ezekiel Elliott shifting over to him. Zeke is going to get the bulk of the carries, obviously, in training camp. That being said, who's going to play behind Zeke? Zeke can do it all. Zeke on the field is amazing, but who's going to play behind Zeke? Is it going to be Darren McFadden? Darren McFadden is entering his 9th year in the league, I believe. He's getting up there in age. He's always had injury history. You think about Darren McFadden coming out to Arkansas. This was a Heisman runner-up. Never really panned out, but has had some good years. Even with the Cowboys in our 2015 year, Darren McFadden had a great year. That being said, last year he drops his phone and he breaks his elbow. So who's going to bring up the rear? Is it going to be a Rod Smith coming out of nowhere? Is it going to be a Jahad Thomas? I personally like Jahad Thomas. He's just smaller and he's not super physical, but he has that it that I kind of do like. You heard rumors today that the Cowboys were talking to a Denard Robinson. So all of this Zeke stuff with the Cowboys now, I think they did their conditioning stuff. Hopefully it'll go away. You got the OJ trial, you got all this stuff. Hopefully it'll kind of just simmer down. But the league, they've shown now that they're not just going to let it go. So with that being said, Zeke's going to sit. So who's going to take his position? That'll be a really battle to watch. Now let's talk about our receivers and who is going to. Will anybody slow down this Ryan Switzer buzz? I think it's real, and I do believe that Lucky Whitehead could be on his way out. But even more so, what does this mean for Bryce Butler? What does this mean for Terrence Williams' looks? I think Terrence Williams will be fine. They just gave him a 4-year deal. But now, how do we get Ryan Switzer the ball? It's only one football. You got a Dez Bryant. You got a Cole Beasley. You have a Terrence Williams. He's going to be in there, if not for anything, just for how good of a blocker he is, and we love to run the football. Who's coming off the field? Could it be a Jason Witten? That'll be something to watch. What personnel packages are they using with Ryan Switzer? Can Lucky Whitehead challenge? That's going to be a great battle to see in training camp. And finally, when you're talking about these left guard positions, I know everybody wants to say and is quick to think that, with Jonathan Cooper being how high he was drafted. I remember that draft, and he was drafted high coming out of North Carolina. I think he went, 6th or 7th to Arizona, and we were looking for offensive line talent that year, and it just so happened that I think we drafted Travis Frederick. I'm not mistaken if that's the Travis Frederick draft or if that was the Zach Martin draft. Nonetheless, it looks like both of those guys have panned out, and obviously Jonathan Cooper hasn't. He's on his 3rd team. Can he kind of recapture that flame here? It'll be tricky to see because Chaz Green, he has shown traits. Like Chaz Green has shown even a right tackle that he could play okay. He's just never healthy. And I don't want an old lineman who I can't depend. Will they just feel more comfortable with Chaz just being like a backup, just a swing tackle type of a guy? That'll be something to watch because that's huge. Pressure up the middle. We know and we've shown as an organization that we're going to build from the trenches on back, We've tried to do it on the defensive line. It hasn't worked. But we're going to build it from the trenches on back on the offensive line, and it has worked. So these two cogs, when you're thinking about Lyle on the right, and Jonathan Cooper, these are big pieces, man. And this is a big, training camp battle that we're going to have to watch because pressure up the middle could affect Dak a lot, and that could affect what I talked about earlier as far as him making his progression and his Dak versus Dak. Dak just allowing himself to be better. You thinking about Russell Wilson, as good of a quarterback as he is, he got killed last year, and it forced the Seattle Seahawks to obviously draft O-line. So these are all questions that I had. These are all mini camp battles nonetheless. So get in my comments. Let me know what you guys think. I got the Cowboys dice right here, so we rolling the dice this year. I think we'll be fine. I think these are just some things to watch. Other things are, does Andy Jones make the team? Does Noah Brown make the team? Who's the surprise of the offensive training camp? It happens every year. So you guys let me know. Like, share, subscribe. Next week I'm hitting it extremely hard. Hopefully this Zeke stuff goes away. I'm kind of just exhausted by it. But nonetheless, you guys have a great weekend. I'm recording this on a Friday. It's your boy Foots the King. Like, share, subscribe. Send it out to people. Look how, dang, my peace sign looks crazy. Peace.